My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Scorpios. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing a general reading of past, present, future, and 9 card spread. I'm going to be using the regular tarot deck, clarify with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw a vampire oracle, then draw 3 yes or no answers for thee. But anyway, on May 12th, we're going to be having the full moon in your sign. So I wonder how, your senses and intuition are going to feel during this, interesting, full moon phase. It's always interesting, for any kind of moon occasion, right? But anyway, we'll get started. Okay, the general card is the Wheel of Fortune reversed. So let's look at the first row, which is also the past. You start off with Judgment upright. Now, I'm not allowed to show Judgment, but it came up upright. 6 of Wands. Okay, and 8 of Cups. Right. I see, that you've actually, experienced a personal celebration, and the fact is, that you had to take off and leave towards a different direction. Well, any kind of choice or option or any kind of, decision, that's, mostly the term I was looking for, could also, contribute to having a personal celebration of having this clarity. Because, with Judgment, you see this, angel, blowing this trumpet, and all these humans are, just celebrating this occasion because of this grand announcement of something. And it just looks very, beautiful, there's clarity, people's heads are out of the clouds, it just looks incredibly, just very, filled with intuition and all kinds of, this grand announcement, that really took place and stuff like that. And that mostly, I'm kind of getting, the sense that either, you could be heading off towards like a college, setting, or you could be, transitioning to the next level of your academic level, or you could be heading off towards a new job or your first job for that matter. I'm just kind of throwing out a few examples there, but that's kind of the senses I'm getting here because, this clarity or at least grand announcement is that you got accepted into this college academics or even, got accepted into this job or career. A wonderful personal celebration, and this is you heading towards it. Wonderful. Huh. I wonder if this has anything to do with your full moon coming up. Though in current times you do get the 7 of Pentacles reversed, 5 of Wands reversed, and the 4 of Wands reversed. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing, it's like that you're doing a bit of some kind of, reconciliation of some kind. Because, with the 7 of Pentacles, reversed, it's kind of like actually, letting go of doubt or hesitancy of some kind. It's pretty much, like you pretty much just think, okay, it's like, because normally with the 5 of Wands upright, it's like conflict and competition, but it's like, it is definitely a competition when you're the one that actually got chosen for this, degree or this, or college or a job, setting for that matter. The thing is, hey, but why would you be getting the 4 of Wands reversed? Is it because you're heading off towards a different direction that, your family and friends, will disagree with for, some reason? Or do you feel like you have no confidence? Because next to the 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, and 4 of Wands upright, it's about happy home, happy hearth, happy family. But it's also happy home, happy hearth, happy family, and confidence within yourself to actually think, am I confident enough to, embark on this kind of journey? But yeah, I do love the fact that the 5 of Wands did come in reverse because that's kind of definitely, a forgiveness kind of card. But yeah, it's like I'm kind of wondering if you had to let go of something. Well, we'll have to keep going. Because in the future, you get World upright. Now, I'm not allowed to show World, but you got it upright. 3 of Swords. Why did this card, and one of the cards I pulled for the vampire showed up? And yet you get the 6 of Swords reversed. Okay, this is an interesting combination because you could be suffering from, some kind of heartbreak in the future, but you're not giving up. Okay, I'm getting something here. I'm going to have to verify it and stuff like that. I do see you heading off into the world, but, it's like you could be facing some kind of heartbreak or something, that's going to be causing you a bit of pain in the future, but you're just not giving up because you are a fixed individual. If this saying, nope, once my teeth are set into the victim, I'm not letting go. Sorry for that metaphor, of course. But I'm going to have to verify this because I'm definitely getting something. But let's see here. As for Judgment upright, you get the Hierophant. Okay, you are definitely committed to something. I mean, it could be marriage, though technically this isn't, a love, marriage reading. But the thing is you are definitely committed, or you were committed to something in the past because of this grand announcement. Okay, yeah, we're starting to get somewhere. Okay, and yeah, with any kind of battle, any kind of choices, any kind of anything, that could always, well, nobody ever, leaves any kind of decision. That's what I was mostly heading towards, unscathed. But we'll have to get there, we'll get to the Three of Swords real soon. But either way, you were definitely committed to this whole, grand announcement of something. Okay. Six of Swords. I mean, Six of Wands. Sorry about that. Six of Wands. You get the Daughter of Grails. Okay, and this is like the Page of Cups, a daydream. Okay, yeah, I mean, I wonder if you could be suffering from a bit of, in the sense of illusions, in the sense that you could have been, misdirected somehow, or you were sent off in a different direction. Okay. Because, you did get some kind of celebration, but you also got some kind of daydream of some kind. A bit of well, it's like an idea kind of child. It's definitely a tiny seed that you wanted to plant, and that mostly, what contributed to this. Yeah, this grand announcement of some kind. I mean, I'm wondering if you could be having a child sometime in the near future, or in the future itself. But why would you be getting the Eight of Cups after this? Because you're getting the Ace of Skulls. Okay. So the thing is, it's like, maybe you're an entrepreneur as well. That's another, theme I'm getting in my mind, being an entrepreneur. But this is also, definitely, some kind of daydream, that mostly, contributed to this grand announcement, because you are definitely heading off towards this new job of some kind. So it doesn't per se have to be a child in any way. It could definitely be, that you actually will put time and effort into heading towards this job. I mean, you are definitely getting, or you did actually get some kind of abundance, or this new offering of some kind. And maybe that's why, you were actually chosen during this, competitive moment of maybe entering into this college, or maybe this new job. But yeah, it's like, I want to keep going, but it's like, I am definitely seeing that there's, some kind of battle that you're actually winning in this reading, but I want to, verify it all. So, Seven of Pentacles reversed, you kind of have to let go of something, or you're just kind of leaving hesitancy because you get the Ace of Swords. Okay. Yeah, what I'm getting here is, it's like you are putting time and effort because, you are incredibly determined, you're motivated, and you're committed to this career, or this, opportunity that was being presented to you because you won, and that's why, you're forgiving your competitors and stuff like that. But yet, I'm kind of sensing there could be a bit of a lack of confidence occasionally. I mean, it's like with ebbs and flows. One minute you feel like you're on top of the world, and then next you just think, what was I even thinking? How did it go from a wonderful, occasion, down to, my worst nightmare, for example. I don't think it's like that per se, but unless that does resonate with you. But yeah, I do get this kind of feeling that, you were putting a lot of time and effort because you were committed, and you are incredibly determined because you are heading out into this world, which is one of your beautiful cards next to Aquarius, Taurus and Leo, for being fixed individuals in this world. But I do see you incredibly motivated, and really, it's like, maybe this is like a once in a life of kind of opportunity or offering or something. Huh. Five of Wands reverse, you're forgiving people because you get the Chariot, okay? And what I'm seeing here is, you're kind of having a bit of a reconciliation with your competitors, but you're also incredibly motivated and determined with the Chariot. And it's a Cancer, card, so you could have Cancer somewhere in your star chart, or even Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, or Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, or even maybe even with the Four of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, for that matter, or even with the World and Leo. But, yeah, I do see you incredibly, ambitious. You're inspired. I mean, whatever this, Page of Cups kind of daydream was, it's, it looks like, it's pretty much, coming to fruition. It's like, you were nurtured, you loved, you cared for that wonderful, beautiful daydream of whatever it was. And it pretty much, inspired you with the Ace of Pentacles. You're determined with the Ace of Knives because, what I love about the Aces is it's like the start of new beginnings. The pages are all about, going out on this journey and stuff like that, but the Aces are the start of it all, but I see you incredibly determined and passionate and very inspired. So again, I'm not surprised because, if you're, being presented with a once in a lifetime opportunity or offering, wonderful. Because even though you do get the Four of Wands reversed, you get the Queen of Skulls. So, it's like, well, you could be suffering from maybe a bit of, some negativity in the sense, like you pretty much just think, oh goodness, well, what was I thinking? Because, well, you do get the world after that. When I mentioned, it's like, ebbs and flows. One minute you feel like you're on top of the world, and then next you're just thinking, what was I even thinking? So this could be you maybe potentially, struggling a little bit, but I just see, it's like each day change, regarding your feelings and sensations. I mean, it doesn't apply to everybody for that matter, but it's like, one minute you just, pretty much just think, oh, I need to be alone, and then the next minute you think, okay, let's try to do something for, like a change for that matter. And I also see, stability for you. I see, like, yeah, that you pretty much, are, working excellent, and you're getting a really good salary regarding the Queen of Pentacles. But let's continue with the world. Ooh, you get lovers. Oh my goodness. You have other people when you're witnessing your hard work and determination. The thing is, I do see you, out in this world, and, you have options and opportunities, or you can even have Gemini for that matter, or even love from your companion, spouse, whoever it is in this world. But what I actually see here is, you actually have other people, witnessing you, because they just see how determined, ambitious, and really, determined. I mean, I already mentioned that, but I just see you, really inspired in this entire reading. I mean, my goodness. I mean, but, well, the Three of Swords to get the High Priestess. Okay. Yeah, what I'm kind of getting here is, you are, facing, opportunities and options and stuff like that, but I'm wondering, if anything regarding the High Priestess, which is the upper book of knowledge, and also one of your beautiful cards for my beloved Scorpios, is I'm wondering, if, reality, could be, kicking in. I mean, maybe, you are an entrepreneur. Maybe you are, yeah, your own boss for that matter and stuff like that. But I wonder why you could be facing some kind of heartbreak, because the High Priestess is supposed to have, so much upper book of knowledge, because this is the High Priestess with her upper book of knowledge, the knowledge beyond anyone, beyond the universe for all that matters, because, the High Priestess is one of the strongest cards. I mean, that's why, you also get the Hierophant, which is also a very incredibly strong card for, for the tarot deck. So both of them are really beautiful, strong individuals. But this could also be maybe, it doesn't per se have to be anything with heartbreak that could be harming you, but it could also be, that, you could be talking yourself out of, maybe a potential offering, and maybe that is what could also be contributing to to heartbreak, because even though with the Six of Swords reversed, you get the Sun, so, okay, well, I'm going to stop saying Leo energy for that matter, but anyway. Yeah, I actually, see that you could, potentially be talking yourself out of this potential world and opportunities card, and maybe this is why your intuition and your, your senses and your experience are pretty much, hey, I'm just kind of saying, okay, Scorpio, we're probably not ready for this, or maybe if you, are heading towards like college or something, and you're just, worried or afraid by it and stuff like that. I mean, I just feel like, don't knock it till you try it. Don't listen to other people's, experiences, because every person's experience is different than anybody. So if one person said, oh, I had a great time, you might have a bad time, or if other people said, oh goodness, I had the worst time, you could have, the best time of your life. The thing is, no person's, experience is the same. So it's important to actually just think, okay, it's like, well, maybe, you're kind of, dealing with, maybe, like, some dark, senses, in the sense where you just pretty much, listen to other people's negative experiences and you're talking yourself out of it. But this is you actually not giving up, because the sun will eventually shine for my beloved Scorpios. So this is where, there's going to be clarity, just like you already had clarity in the beginning. So, if there's somebody's going to, try to talk you out of, heading off towards, like, the world, setting regarding the lovers and stuff like that, I would personally, my suggestion to you, I would never order anybody, but my suggestion to you would just be, yeah, we'll go about it in your own personal experience. Don't listen to other people. Don't think, oh yeah, they had a great time, so maybe I might have a great time, or they had a really bad time, so it's probably, going to be pointless for me as well. Well, the thing is, maybe yes, maybe no. But, it's like, you're not there yet to actually be able to witness and experience, those senses and stuff like that. Because even the full moon in your sign, it's all about how your senses are definitely going to be heightened, especially under that full moon. So, yeah, my suggestion would be is to kind of maybe write down, you don't have to do anything, but that would just only be a suggestion, is to write down all of, your feelings, towards any kind of like endeavor, voyage, quest, if you're heading off towards a new job and you just think, oh goodness, I just don't have any kind of courage or strength within me, even though it looks promising, and I just pretty much just feel like, well, why do I bother? It's just going to be a negative experience, but yet, your senses and intuition are pretty much just saying, okay, let's try to look at it from a different angle and stuff like that. So I would just maybe write down, well, what are you so, worried about, in the future and stuff like that, and to see how you can potentially, curb those, worries about the future in current times and stuff like that, right? Because, whatever you do right now will contribute to the future, so it doesn't mean that these cards, will be resonating in any way, but that's why I am your tarot guide reader, giving you these cards for a reason, so you could try to maybe curb any potential problems, to avoid in the future. Intense, I know. Your special vampire card, you get the Six of Wands. So you get the second Six of Wands. You're definitely going to be celebrating something wonderful. Ooh, end of the year cycle celebration probably, or maybe the start of a new cycle. Whatever it may be, I do see this grand celebration taking place for my beloved, amazing, intuitive water signs. Okay, what does Oracle have? The past, a prison, bitterness, grudge, and refusal to let go. Okay. If you feel like that you've experienced, any kind of negativity in the past, just like me, mentioning the Three of Swords is, that I'm, one of the cards I pulled for the vampire. The thing is, we can never change the past. None of us can ever do that. So, but the most important thing, is to learn from the past and try to see how you can apply, your past, learning experiences, especially as being the high priestess, that will pretty much, contribute to a better outcome in the future. And like I've mentioned, whatever you work on right now will contribute to, whatever kind of, future that will be, the effect from what you're doing right now and stuff like that. So if you want to let go of the prison, I would, do good things for yourself, adapt to healthy habits, learn from the past, try to curb any kind of potential disasters that will be taking place in the future, stuff like that. But either way, try to let go of any kind of negativity, but don't, let go in the sense that you want to forget about it, because the thing is, those are usually good, learning moments, for us in any way. Okay. Well, I'm going to finish off with 3 yes or no answers. Please feel free to pause this video and think about the questions you want answered. Because for number 1, you get a yes with the Knight of Wands. A no with the Nine of Swords. And a no with the Five of Pentacles. Okay, my beautiful, amazing Scorpios, I'm going to have to leave it at that. But if this reading resonated, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. I love you guys incredibly. I want to wish you all the best of luck. I will just love you guys so much. And also best of luck during your full moon. In a few days, I'm going to go back to love readings. So for now, I'm just doing general and love. But I'm also open for personal readings. All you have to do is subscribe to my channel. Post in the little discussion box. I almost said description, but that's my little part. But in the little discussion box, post, that you want a personal reading, and I'll respond to you with my email, and we'll start the process from there. But either way, thank you so much for your love and devotion towards my channel. I love you guys incredibly.